Historically, Ukraine has been an underrated sailing nation. It's produced 11 Olympic medalists since gaining independence and was the birthplace of countless talented competitive sailors before. Today, Ukraine's young yachtspeople are prepared to sail the country into the future of water sports. Yachting is my favorite job, my favorite hobby. It's something I can't live without, something I'll never get tired of. Yachting is the only sport in the world where participants have to fight with themselves, their competitors, and Mother Nature. That's probably why I love it more than anything in the world. Come on, I'll show you our yacht. Come in. Jump. In Ukraine, yachting is very popular with the youth. Besides, it is very beautiful. We're like princesses here. Actually, it's a lot easier for a woman to do well in yachting than it is for a man. It's a man's sport, so there's less competition for us. It's difficult to say how yachting originated. It's clearly related to people trying to discover new lands, explore, and travel. During the Soviet era, Ukrainian yachtspeople were very formidable. The Ukrainian yachting school was one of the best in the USSR. There were a lot of yachting schools and a huge number of boats. Making it to the championship of Ukraine was a task in itself. Children had to train a lot, go to regionals, then go to nationals, and only then could they go to the Soviet championships. It was practically impossible, and the ones who made it were like heroes. Now, yachting has started to decline due to the economic situation in our country, but we're still trying to revive it. Kiev Racing Yacht Club has its own fleet of sailing yachts, a yachting school for adults, and a yachting school for children. We have 12 children's yachts and 10 adult yachts. We're gradually trying to reach a level like in Europe. We want as many sails on the Dnipro as there are in the Sydney Harbor and in other large industrialized cities. Previously, you had to have your own yacht, but now, for example, our club has its own yachts. You can come and start learning. You don't need to bother yourself with thinking of how to take care of a yacht or where to keep it. It makes yachting more simple and makes it more accessible to everyone. I started doing gymnastics from 6 to 10 years old, but then I had health issues and doctors wouldn't let me continue. My childhood began when I was 10. My mom was always stressed. She really wanted me to get good results in sports. She took me to swimming, trampoline, different kinds of combat sports. I didn't stick with anything. My mother was upset. I was 14. Then I found yachting. It was 2003. My first coach was Ihor Linochuk. He trained me for 3 years at his base in Kiev. Then I went to the Olympic Reserve Yacht Club, and Maxim Chess became my coach, and he's still my coach. I combine yachting with work. I began training in the Olympic Reserve Yacht Club in 2005. A year later, I started doing really well. In 2006, I became Master of Sport of Ukraine, and I've been on the national team since 2007. The Olympic class I started my career in at the Obolon Yacht Club and in the Olympic Reserve School is called Laser Radial. It's a one-person yacht. When I started to finish my national team career in Laser Radial, and it was difficult for me to switch to a new class.
Сборницы в классе лазер-радиал, мне перейти на экипажную лодку было очень сложно.
Мне попадались в детстве, в возрасте, наверное, 3, 5, 7 лет.
When I was about 3, 5, 7 years old, I started getting into books about boating and yachts. I was really into them. When I was a kid, I would make small boats that would even float in the water with sails. And ever since my childhood, I've loved it. I understood that it's something particularly meaningful in my life.
С самого детства. Я понимал, что это для меня что-то значимое в жизни. До того, как первый раз зайти на борт судна,
Before I even stepped foot on a boat, I had theoretically prepared for everything. I hadn't had the chance before. Or maybe I was scared or didn't know or thought, for example, like a lot of people think, that it was too expensive to get involved in. So I only studied theory. I read books and watched videos and films. And when I first stepped on a boat, I knew where the different ropes and sails were and what to do with them. Most important is the desire to do it. In general, yachting is becoming popular around the world as a pastime. You can rent a yacht and travel with it for the price of a hotel room. Look out a window instead of at a picture and stay active.
Но я очень много отдыхал в чартерах, когда мы с друзьями уходили.
I've chartered a lot of yachts for vacation. My friends and I went to the Canary Islands, Ibiza, Palma de Mallorca, Croatia, Spain, Turkey, Greece. We've been to a lot of places. It's fantastic.
У нас было 60 человек на Канарских островах. У нас было 9 или 10 яхт, уже точно не припомню. У меня была большая 17-метровая лодка.
We took 60 people to the Canary Islands. We had 9 or 10 yachts. I had a huge 17-meter boat. I got my international boating license. We had 12 crew members on the boat, and it had 5 bedroom compartments.
Завтракаешь на шикарной яхте, в прекрасной марине.
You'd wake up in the morning, have breakfast on this unbelievable yacht in the marina. Then you'd go out on the water for maybe 2, 3, 6 hours, go from one place to another, go to another marina, another city that you want to visit.
Меняйте город, в какой вы отдыхаете.
There are a lot of yachting schools in Ukraine, which are mostly located in cities near major bodies of water, so Odessa, Dnipro, Kiev. There are several yachting schools in Kiev.
В любой школе, будь это частная.
At every yachting school, whether it's private or government-owned, children learn to sail optimist boats. It's a cornerstone. The ABCs of sailing. Children learn the basics of controlling the boat, the principles of yachting as a sport, and after these boats, they can try to prove themselves in any other class.
Показать себя в любом классе. Задача любой школы – привить любовь к парусному спорту.
The main goal of any yachting school is to instill a love for sailing. As soon as it happens, everything else becomes simple. Of course, you get tired. Your arms and legs hurt. It gets hard to get out of bed in the morning. That's true. You need to love what you do so that no matter what it is, if it's scary or painful, you go to practice and you practice. And you practice. And you practice even more.
Ты идешь на тренировку и тренируешься, тренируешься, тренируешься.
Яхтинг – это такой вид спорта, который не имеет возрастных ограничений.
Yachting is the kind of sport that has no age limits. For example, at the Rio Olympics, a 55-year-old man won gold. He recovered from cancer and only had one lung. It shows that the sport is accessible. You need the will and the basic physical capacity to do it.
Парусный спорт, он аккумулирует в себе очень толковых ребят.
A lot of intelligent people end up in yachting because it is everything. Physics, physical endurance, tactics. It's chess on the water. There aren't dumb people here.
Здесь не бывает глупых людей.
Бывали такие моменты, когда
We've had situations where we make a mistake and the boat is lying with the sails on the water, with the mast underwater, and this deck that we see here is no longer horizontal, but stands vertical, and people walk like this on it. Newcomers see this and are horrified at what to do, so I calmly, laughingly, with a smile, walk up and emphatically remove a rope from its stopper, and the boat levels out, and everyone remembers and knows what to do in those situations.
У нас в Украине, конечно, парусный спорт сезонный, в основном.
In Ukraine, yachting is a seasonal sport. Mostly you train in the summer. Although in the winter, when the lakes freeze, we have ice boats. We're not always lucky with ice in the winter, so we go to warmer countries and compete in regattas, get a charter yacht, practice, train.
2006 года, заканчивая сегодня,
I've traveled a lot from 2006 to now. I've entered a lot of competitions in Europe, gone to training camps mostly in Italy, Spain, Croatia, because truthfully, it gets pretty cold here. At the peak of my career, there was also Sevastopol. The Olympic reserve team had an amazing base in Sevastopol, where all the members would start and finish their seasons.
Заканчивали свой сезон и начинали. Самая моя значимая гонка.
The most important race for me was my first regatta in Italy. It was on a lake in Riva del Garda. It's a very memorable place for me because it wasn't just my first laser radial race in Europe, but also my first on a cruising yacht.
Я вам скажу, что на этом озере дует всегда.
I can say that the wind always picks up on the lake, like clockwork. There's no wind in the morning, but after 11, it's just scary. I remember it well, because I almost finished in last place and I realized that it was going to be a lifelong love. It was terrifying, cold, painful, but I knew I needed to finish, and I did it. And I realized I wasn't scared of anything anymore.
Мне уже ничего не страшно.
Ukraine has a lot of competitions. There are Ukrainian championships in several classes, including children's class, Olympic classes, and for cruising yachts. There are some club regattas where amateurs can compete.
Нету у спортсменов.
There's no such thing as just a regatta for a competitive sports person. Even now, when I've got some intra-club races, I realize that I can approach every race like it's my last, like it's the most important ever. Sailing yachts are popping up more and more, and I think it wouldn't be shocking to see the Dnipro covered in yachts in the future. It's our goal and our dream.
Сегодня все больше и больше яхт.
Now, there are more and more yachts with ginnakers, yachts with wing-like foils under the hull, and I think that's the future. I mean, when you're actually flying over the water, almost like a bicycle with some kind of tiny, tiny wings, and you start reaching speeds of over 80 kilometers per hour.
До 80 км в час.